Very few people are qualified to become great investors. Some can learn by observing and reading books from successful investors in the market. Some gain experience by engaging directly with the market and developing their own investment methods, and others are simply not born for the investment profession. In investing, there is no single approach that can be guaranteed to be effective in every situation because the market is constantly changing and evolving over time to adapt to new changes in the investment environment. Even the world's most famous investor, Warren Buffett, cannot make 100% accurate decisions in every case. Objectively speaking, investing is more akin to an art than a science. The absolute precision of science cannot be applied in the investment environment, and therefore, the formula for continuous success in the market is always a product of imagination. As the market continuously evolves and changes its behavior over time, independent thinking skills play a crucial role in the toolkit of a smart investor. An investor cannot achieve long-term success in the market if all they do is blindly follow the advice of others. I have never met a successful investor whose sole strategy was to follow others' advice. Success never has shortcuts. Why is independent thinking so crucial for investment success? Because only by thinking independently from the market can an investor gain a long-term and sustainable competitive advantage. Investors beat the market by seeing what the market overlooks. The secrets, what we take for granted today, were once unknown. These secrets, as renowned VC investor Peter Thiel mentioned in his book 0 to 1. Our ancestors once lived in an era where no one knew anything about a force that always existed beneath the ground until Isaac Newton named it gravity. Today, the concept of gravity appears in high school physics textbooks, and everyone views it as an obvious truth of the world. While learning common knowledge is essential in the educational process, it does not provide a competitive advantage because everyone knows about it. The real competitive advantage can only come from secrets, the truths that few people know or that the world has yet to discover. The double helix structure of DNA, the fixed speed of light, the mysterious world of quantum physics, etc., were all secrets for most of human history. Our ancestors lived as if those truths never existed, truths we now take for granted. A society without secrets is equivalent to a society that has reached the pinnacle of prosperity, where everything that can be known has been discovered, and the inevitable outcome for such a civilization in the future, unavoidable decline. Only when we truly believe that there are still things in the world to discover and are willing to dedicate ourselves to finding them can development be sustained. Belief in secrets has continuously driven the world to greater prosperity. A society that abandons hope in secrets is a society that has ceased to develop. According to Peter Thiel, a secret is something that very few people agree with you on until it becomes common knowledge. Therefore, to discover secrets, the ability to think independently from the crowd is a prerequisite. No one has ever followed the crowd and had the ability to create world-changing ideas. Those who have changed the world were seen as eccentric by the masses simply because they held secrets, the truths that the crowd denied. Galileo was executed because he always believed that the earth revolves around the sun, a belief contrary to the societal norms driven by religious factors at the time. Although the world has become less dangerous and freedom of speech is now much more respected than in the past, the quest to discover secrets remains a challenging and arduous journey. Discovering truths hidden from the world has never been an easy task. In investing, everything that everyone agrees on can be considered important foundational knowledge, but it certainly isn't a secret, and thus it isn't a type of information that can provide a competitive advantage for investors. To achieve long-term success in the market, investors always need secrets, the truths that very few people agree with you on. However, secrets only come to those who have the ability to think independently, superior to the market, and a few individuals are willing to consider every aspect of an issue without letting societal prejudices influence their thoughts. Understanding the danger that the herd mentality poses to an individual's clear thinking, the famous writer Mark Twain once warned, "If you find yourself on the same side as the majority, it's time to stop and think." The dangers of the herd mentality, in some particular way, The actions of the crowd always have the potential to suppress an individual's independent thinking. Individual entities will never do something alone, but are willing to go crazy with the crowd. They are ready to throw away their brains and become part of the collective simply because everyone else is doing it. The madness of the herd is easily contagious, like a dangerous virus. Obviously, very few investors are capable of becoming great because one of the prerequisites for great investors is the courage to go against the current. The herd trend is one of the strongest psychological instincts of humans, making it incredibly difficult to break away from the herd, even if the logic behind such actions is solid. After all, we are still social animals, and social ridicule is a form of hell. Competitive advantage in investing. When you make a transaction in the market, what makes you think that the person you're trading with is making a less intelligent decision? If you are the seller, why is the other party willing to buy? If you are the buyer, why is the other party willing to sell? Why are you sure that you are making a smarter decision than the person you're trading with? In other words, where is your advantage? The only thing that separates great investors from the crowd, according to Howard Marks, is the ability to provide deeper insights compared to the rest of the world. A deep insight not only completely separates you from the crowd's general opinion, but, most importantly, it must be correct. The truth that few people agree with you on is the essential ingredient for creating a sustainable competitive advantage in investing. Most market participants are educated, possessing basic economic knowledge to draw fairly accurate general conclusions about the market's ongoing situation. The crowd's general opinion is a guiding star that drives market trends. Successful investors are those who can think independently, completely detached from the market, with deep insights based on rigorous and solid analysis. However, mere difference is not enough because difference only ensures that an investor's results will be above or below average rather than fluctuating around the mean. Simply being different is extremely simple. Being both different and more accurate is what every great investor aims for. In simple terms, beating the market requires investors to have a different perspective, but also one that is more accurate than the crowd's general opinion in the market. The glaring issue here is that it's not easy to form an opinion that is completely detached from the crowd yet more accurate. Most investment decisions that deviate from the crowd often lead to financial disasters because, as mentioned earlier, the market is usually very efficient in pricing companies. The efficient market hypothesis in economics almost always functions effectively during most market operations. However, there are occasional fleeting moments when the market becomes irrational with extreme valuations. These are the perfect times for wise investors to exploit the contrarian strategy, selling when everyone else is buying or buying when everyone else is frantically selling. If an investor cannot muster the greed to buy when everyone else is fearful and selling, then from the outset, they should not participate in the market. This is simply not a game for them. However, as I have repeatedly emphasized, understanding what needs to be done is one thing, but the ability to execute these actions is another entirely. Just because a bubble is inflating doesn't mean it will burst in the near future. And just because a company is undervalued doesn't mean it will revert to its intrinsic value the following week. The timing of market reversals and the intensity of fluctuations are entirely uncertain. Prolonged feelings of loneliness will make even the most confident investors doubt themselves. No matter how sharp your analytical reasoning is, self-doubt is inevitable when you have to stand alone for too long and continuously receive negative signals from the market. Reflecting on the endless loneliness in resisting her emotions, Peter Thiel shared the following. According to the definition, a secret is something that has not been vetted by the crowd. If your life's goal is to never make mistakes, you should not seek secrets in life. The prospect of being lonely, but dedicating your entire life to things no one believes in is already difficult enough. The prospect of being both lonely and wrong is simply unbearable psychologically. Mistakes are inevitable. Mistakes are unavoidable when investors seek secrets in the market. The line between secrets and delusions is always very fragile. It is very easy to form opinions that deviate from the crowd and are purely products of imagination. Conspiracy theory groups, such as those supporting the flat earth theory, are a typical example. In other words, anyone can generate delusions or rational beliefs that few people agree with, whether by joining widespread conspiracy groups online or by taking verified truths and reversing them. You might not believe in the existence of gravity, but if you do, then I invite you to jump off a high-rise building to test it yourself. In contrast, forming opinions that deviate from the crowd but are more accurate is not simple. It is truly difficult to distinguish between secrets and delusions because there is no objective standard to determine either. You can only rely on personal judgments to reach the most plausible conclusions, but you must also understand that nothing is certain. Those thoughts might not be the world's truths. Unexplored territories always contain dangers not meant for the faint-hearted. Therefore, making mistakes is unavoidable. You might think you possess a secret, but in reality, what you have is a delusion. Being wrong and being ridiculed by the crowd is nothing short of bitter. As Peter Thiel emphasized, if your goal is to never make mistakes, you should not seek secrets in life. And if you do not possess secrets, you cannot invest successfully. To beat the market, accepting detachment from the crowd is essential. However, this always requires absolute courage from the investor. We all understand that the path to glory has never been smooth and easy. Genius is rare, but courage is even rarer. The famous economist John Maynard Keynes once said, "The intelligence of the crowd always teaches that it's better to fail by societal standards than to succeed in a way that doesn't conform to any standards." This statement reflects his profound understanding of how society operates. Mistakes wouldn't matter if everyone made the same mistakes, but succeeding by going against the crowd is considered the worst thing in a society that values conformity. You won't be seen as stupid if you stand with fools, but you will always look like a fool if you stand alone, and no one cares whether you're right or wrong. Understanding the constant presence of loneliness and the extreme difficulty of making decisions completely detached from the crowd, Peter Thiel pondered, "Genius is rare, but courage is even rarer." To achieve long-term success in the market, investors need both a high IQ and courage. Successful investors are those who possess superior analytical abilities compared to the market and have the guts to make difficult but necessary decisions. The glaring issue here is that intelligence and courage are legendary skills that very few people in the world are fortunate enough to possess, with Elon Musk being a typical example. As I have emphasized many times in previous sections, investing is not a job for everyone. Most investors should participate in the market through passive means, such as index funds or ETFs. Those who constantly preach that investing doesn't require much time and still have the potential to double or triple their accounts are either deceiving those around them, scammers, or deceiving themselves, heavy delusions, or even both. Prepackaged cheese is only found in mousetraps. A key point investors must remember: the skill of going against the current should be used wisely rather than as a blindly applied formula. Do not oppose the crowd just because you like it, and do not assume that everything the crowd agrees on is nonsense that needs to be denied. Making decisions that deviate from the crowd only gives you the opportunity to beat the market. It does not guarantee that your results will be certain. Blindly making contrarian decisions just because they are different from the market is the fastest way to financial disaster. Detaching from the crowd is not a trendy lifestyle. There are many other styles that are much more pleasant and comfortable. Do not stand alone just because it makes you feel proud of yourself, and do not make decisions just because they are different from the crowd. Understand why the crowd is wrong. In summary, superior investment results require two important factors. 1. Seeing what the market misses. 2. The accuracy of those insights being recognized by the market in the future. Only investors who possess superior analytical abilities and extraordinary courage to make precise but extremely difficult emotional decisions are qualified to beat the market in the long term. Standing alone has never been a pleasant task. Prolonged feelings of loneliness will make even the best investors doubt themselves. But they also understand that secrets can only be found in places the crowd has never set foot in, unexplored territories. Belief in undiscovered secrets is the origin of all natural development. Do not rush to choose the narrow door that everyone is scrambling to step through. Stop and think, and perhaps you will gradually realize that beside that crowded narrow door is a wide entrance leading to a beautiful path that no one has ever explored. Be brave enough to step through that gate and seek your own secrets.